Aloha, guys. I'm Desmond Hakias. I'm the host of Healing with Aloha from the island of Kauai, the oldest Hawaiian island. I'm totally honored and privileged to have Joe Borgardt here being my special guest. He graduated from Roosevelt High School. He's a dad, he's a husband, and what he does is he helps people become leaders, and he helps them fuel the fire that ignites and empowers his potential. He is with the U.S. Marine Corps, and I can go on and on, but I found him on LinkedIn, and it's so amazing how, of all places that we found each other, he's all the way in New York and I'm on Kauai, but he used to live in Hawaii on Oahu. And so I wanted him to come on to share a little bit about himself and just the importance of us empowering other people to be the best version of themselves. So with further ado, Joe, hi.
Hi, Destin. Thanks for having me. It's an honor and privilege, really. I love the work you're doing, on all these platforms to add value to people and empower people and help people heal. But yeah, I know. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, thank you. Can you tell people a little bit about what you do with the U.S. Marine Corps and how long you've been serving? And thank you for your service.
Yeah, no, it's my honor and privilege to serve. I've enjoyed it. It's changed my life. Yeah, so I'm in the Marines, almost 20 years now. I call Hawaii home, finished high school in Hawaii, but I'm really an Army brat. My father was in the military, moved around every couple of years. But what my passion is, I love to help. I love to lift people up. I love to help people see what's possible for them. I love to help people see that help them to see that there's more for them than their current results, would reflect. And, if they're facing challenges and, obstacles, to help them through those. And then that's really what I really enjoy doing. Now also, so that's kind of personally, but professionally, and they both interrelate, is, I help people become better leaders. I've been studying leadership for, almost a decade now. Been in the military about 20 years, but really studying leadership for about a decade. And really leadership applies to our whole life. Most people think that leadership is, the boss telling everyone else what
to do, right?
But on the contrary, leadership is really tied to all that we do, right? We're a leader in our home, with or our loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Or kids, if you have them. We're a leader with our friends, and sometimes part of leading is following, right? So how we influence, friends and acquaintances, and we're a leader, in the workplace or in a business. And leadership, in some is really about influence, and you can really maximize it and get the most out of those opportunities when you're intentional and deliberate about it. You mentioned earlier, chatting about, rituals versus habits.
Yes.
And you highlighted that, habits are kind of subconscious. They kind of happen, and some are good, some are bad. But rituals are, deliberate and intentional. And when we get intentional about things, we get better results. And I think that was powerful when you shared that.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree, because sometimes the things that we were taught growing up, like we got to give shout out to our parents, and whoever was our caretakers. But as we get older, our lives change. We have different commitments, different responsibilities. If we wing it, we're gonna drop balls and we're gonna miss things. But if we are intentional, we create order. So if you have like a structure, then you have something to go towards, and then of course you got to modify as you go, but then it's less stress. What do you feel like is one thing you notice that people tend to overlook? Because I think sometimes we don't give ourselves permission to be great.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so powerful. That's such a great question. I think I love the analogy that I truly believe that, we're all capable of so much, right? And this was God's gift to all of us, that we have unlimited potential, right? That we have like this vast field of possibility, right? And God's the creator, and God created us in his image, and therefore we're creators. And we can create in our life anything that we want. If we want to change the results, we have the power to do that. And we have this vast field of potential and possibility, and oftentimes we're only cultivating like a small portion of that field, and when you ask me, hey, what is the thing that, one of the challenges a lot of people face, and I think it's that we're only aware of that small little portion of the field, that there's so much more available to you, and that indeed you are fully resourced, that you don't need anything else added to you, that you have everything that you need. God gave it to you, and you just need to go out and find it and develop it. But that awareness that anything is truly possible, that what your current circumstance that's negative and it's toxic and it's defeating, that you have the power to change it. And it's one thing to just say it and logically understand that, okay, yeah, I can change my situation, but it's a different thing to believe it
in your heart. Yeah, like I
in
think
your heart of hearts.
difference between like intellectually accepting a new idea, but then in your heart, like believing it for yourself. Because it's easy for people to cheer you on and be like, you can do this, and then you're like, well, what is your dream? What do you want to do? Oh no, I'm good.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Do you think like people have fears, and then that's why they start off with ideas and then they don't even try because they have fears? Because you know how like they say like fear of success, fear of failure. What do you notice? It like with just
Yeah.
time with like maybe one person you've been helping, what do you see like that pops up that holds them back from what they want to do?
Yeah. Just like you said, I think you kind of hit it on the money, the fear piece, and often that's tied to our own internal voice, our self-talk, what we tell ourselves. And what I love, helping people to understand is that, that's kind of part of actually what you were earlier when you're talking about, our habits, right? Because our habits are tied to our belief system,
Yes.
right? And our self-image, right? If we don't, believe we're worthy of a certain goal or dream, right? That pops into our head like an idea.
Yeah.
If we don't believe that we're worthy for that idea, that not an accident, by the way, that God gave you that idea.
Yeah.
Um, if we don't believe that we're worthy, we're not going to give it life. We're just going to kill it right then and there. We're not going to give it, we're not going to feed it. And what I encourage people is, if you have this idea, like, what do you want? I ask people, and it's a tough question to answer. Like, what do you want?
Right.
Yeah. Like, hey, Jim, and they're talking about like, oh, cause I'm in the military, and people are talking about, aspirations and goals, and just the simple question, what do you want?
Wow. And you think
And
we're not used to that? Is that why it's a loaded question? Because they're like, oh.
Yeah, no, well, well, here's what happens. Here's what happens oftentimes. People that I interact with, the something worthy, right? An idea will pop up in their head, and then they'll settle for something less than that because they don't believe, right, that they're worthy of that dream or that idea. And part of that is because of their belief system that they have, right? They don't believe that they're capable of it, or they're not worthy. Part of it is the people that they're around that kind of feed that narrative, right? And then all of a sudden the self-talk is like, oh, well, there's no way I could achieve that. Where am I going to get the money? Look, my mom or my friends, they've never achieved that.
Right.
So who am I? And then they kill it, and they don't even give it the light of day. It's like the seed in the on the tile floor, versus, and that's why it's so important to get around the right people, like, connecting with you. You're someone that cultivates people, right? That empowers people. You're like the soil, right? That lifts people up, and
Yes.
this, when we surround ourselves with the right people, that's what we want to do, right? That feed our dream, that feed those goals that and maybe historically we've killed because
No,
of fear,
let me
like you
ask you
said.
the question. It's sometimes when you're so involved around people your whole life, right? Whether it's your family, your friends, or your coworkers, you don't even know that they actually enable you to kill your dreams, right? Because you're that's all you know. And so that's why you have to like challenge yourself to
Yeah,
go outside of your circle and
that's
cross,
tough too.
it's
That's
and
tough.
it's intimidating. It's
Takes
intimidating.
courage. Yeah.
Like even for me to go on LinkedIn is like I'm used to Instagram, I'm used to TikTok and Facebook, and going into LinkedIn is like, whoa, these are new people I don't know, but
Yeah.
I can tell you it's inspiring.
And I see it in you, Deslin, and like what I've noticed, at least on my journey, is that I know this to be true, is that when you start to develop, your self-image, and your confidence starts to grow,
Hmm.
the less that you think, the less weight you put on what other people think. And that's a really powerful notion, because oftentimes, and I know for a lot of my life, what other people thought like was such a heavy weight, and drove, in limited and restricted, and so I think it's always relevant,
Hmm.
but you don't want it to be so heavy that it like limits your potential.
Right. Yeah. And I think like I like how your terminology, like, you have a dream and then you don't give it a chance to live. You just like kill it. Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes we gotta step back and look at our relationships and ask ourselves like, could they be encouraging me to kill it, or are they supporting me in fulfilling it?
That's right.
And if they
That's
can't,
right.
it's understandable. Maybe people don't in your family or friends don't have the money, right? Maybe they're not educated enough about this topic or whatever. But it's just you have to challenge yourself to open your heart and your mind. There's podcasts, there's YouTube, there's books, there's just other means like for us to learn. And so I think that it's powerful, like how you're trying to ignite in people that no, don't kill the dream. Keep the dream, maybe
No.
find someone to
Yeah.
help you, because maybe you can't achieve it by yourself, but if you find a team or another person,
Yeah.
you guys can together collaborate to achieve that dream. Because if the end is to help someone, it's worth it, the challenge. Yeah.
It is, and this theory is really powerful, because you can apply that in like, the workplace, or like, let's say like you're in an organization, right? And let's say you tie it to leadership, and you want to elevate the team.
Hmm.
You want to bring it, you want to raise the standard, you want to get to a higher level. The only way that you're going to bring that, manifest that, is if uh, you bring clarity to it, and
Mm.
you get the team to focus on it,
Right. Yeah.
right? To give
Buy
energy
in,
to
buy
that
in.
new standard, to buy in and give energy to it. That's the only way you're going to manifest it. Now, the same logic applies to our dream as well. You got to give energy to it. And
Yes.
and here's what we do. And I love when you said that. My mentor tells me, and one of the staple, quotes is, the truth is not always in the appearance of things.
Wow.
Right. So here's what we do. We'll have that goal or that idea, and we'll look at the physical results and the physical things around us. And we'll say, there's no way I can do that. I don't have the money. I don't have the this. I don't have the that. Or let's say it's a goal in the workplace, and you're like, wow, there's no way I can achieve that or get to that standard. But here's what happens. It's like magic, right? It's the universal laws. When you give something energy,
It comes
when
back.
you give something focus, well, you give it focus and you give it energy, then you start to track the ideas and the things necessary to fulfill it.
Right.
And, right. Because it, like, let's say, hey, you're focusing on this new goal. All this, you're going to see things and you're going to meet people, and that's going to it's the creative process.
Yes, I agree. I
And
see.
and that's why I tell people, hey, if you got a dream, you can't just think about it once in a while either. This is a
Write
part
it
of
down.
this is
Write it down.
write it down, think about it, and
Talk
matter of
about
fact,
it.
this is where talk about it. This is where intentionality comes into play. And and for me, another powerful part of that has been once you focus on whatever goal you've set and you start to give it life, you start to cultivate it, you'll start to recognize and become aware what's in harmony with that, who's in harmony with that goal and that dream, but also what's not in harmony, like habits that are not in harmony with that you recognize that, hey, you know what, I might have to separate myself from these habits or these people, or
No, I agree. I was gonna say something and I totally blanked out. Oh, I know I was gonna say. So part of how we can limit ourselves and kill our dreams, it could possibly, we have to heal wounds.
yeah
Whether it's like
yeah
childhood or even recent, like our relationships do play a role. Like if you are grieving, or say if you're dealing with a loss of a job, or say you have to move, because the top stressors is moving, like changing jobs, and then also like for some people it's like speaking publicly, like it's real fear, it's stressful and stuff. But part of
yeah
breaking free is identifying what is one thing that maybe I have to acknowledge and heal, because then
yeah
energy
that's true.
flows, like you said, energy, right? So there's something blocking their energy to feel worthy to achieve something that is out of them, is outside of them, because it's so much bigger than us, the dream, right?
Yeah
But like you
and you're right,
said,
you can't feel it alone.
yeah, and like you said, you're gonna attract people who are in harmony with you, but you have to give it energy, feed it, feed it, feed it. And it might not be like, yeah, not gonna be right away. You gotta be patient.
You got to be patient, right? Exactly. It's like you know the Bible analogy and parable about the sowing seeds,
Yeah,
right?
it's fine. Or like being a
Seeds take
parent.
time to grow, and or being a parent, and here the naive person would say, hey, I'm putting in all this work, right? And the seed, right? You look at the surface and there's nothing happening, and they'll be like, see, I put in all this work, I'm trying so hard, I'm not getting any results. But the Bible teaches, the wise man knows that things take time.
Exactly. So be
So
more patient in the
be more
process.
patient. Yeah.
Yeah.
It just because you don't see something on the surface doesn't mean
It's
things
not,
aren't happening beneath the surface, right? The roots are starting to take root. And yeah. So
no, that's true.
that's true. That's
'Cause I'm sure
powerful.
you've seen that like in like your job, right? With the Marine.
Yeah.
You having people come from all different walks of life coming in, they got to learn to work together and they got to work individually. And so it's like, okay, we're teaching you to do different things you've never learned before, and yeah,
That's true.
they can either get mad and frustrated, or they can say, be patient, because it's going to take time to adapt to this
Take
whole
time.
new, you know um what do you
That's
find
true.
that when people have breakthroughs, how do they feel?
Oh man, that's a great question. Yeah.
Or even for you, what do you find
That's
when you hold on and there?
that's say that again.
I say, what do you find
Yeah.
that what reward do you find for yourself and maybe someone you help? What is the reward of persevering and then actually achieving that dream or that goal?
Yeah, for me and most of the people that I've worked with, I think they all recognize, and you hear it out there. It's somewhat cliche, but it's about the journey. It's about the process. It's not about really the goal. It's about who you become to reach that goal. That's why it's don't settle for whatever dream that you have, that nudge or that intuition, right? That you've been kind of holding back from, kind of putting aside, because who you become in the process of trying, right, of going through that journey and that adventure, and getting around those obstacles over and under and finding a way. And yeah, that's really the most powerful and enjoyable part of the process for me, whether it's myself or helping other people as well.
Yeah,
And I'm trying to teach my kids these like simple concepts too,
like
because they're young, and my son, my kids, my boys, they wrestle, right? So they're like, a couple months, like they're getting punched in the face, and they're like 7 years, I'm sorry, 8 and 6, right? So they're young, and I'm like, hey, be tough, man, tough it out, keep going, don't worry, you're gonna get better,
or wrestling. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. And I'm trying to teach them these concepts that, hey, if you just stick to it, even though you fall and you fail, and if you just stick with it, you're gonna get answers and you're gonna grow.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it just when you see little wins, it makes a difference. And then like you said, it's about the journey and the people you meet along the way. I mean, along the way, you meet some great people like that are like-minded. But if you didn't try to walk towards that dream or goal, you would miss out on these amazing people who enjoy the same things as you, whether it's art, whether it's like
Yeah,
reading, hiking. Like no dream is dumb to me. No, and
yeah,
that's the thing, people got to stop labeling it. That's not a good dream. That's that goal. Small
nah,
goals adds up, and the
it
friendship,
does.
the relation, the family you create along the way, it's beautiful.
Isn't it? I mean, when I hear you tell me that, I think about, if you never embarked on this journey to like go having a positive impact on people, just, I'm sure the number of connections that you've made
Yeah.
versus if you never embarked on the journey, right? I bet it'd be like incomparable.
Yeah,
And it
I
it
agree.
and it holds true. Like, and most people, they get, you know they stand in their own way,
Yes.
because their dream, right, they're thinking like, I need to have it all figured out before I
Yeah.
even start.
Right.
And
A to Z, A to Z.
I face the same challenges, right, all the time, but it's such a good reminder that, look, you don't need to have it all figured out.
Yeah.
Just take, what can you do today?
What?
And then here's what happens. And I love the analogy, it's perfect. It's like when you're driving at night.
Yeah.
You're driving, on the map, that 3 miles from here is the top of the mountain, right?
Right.
That this road leads to the top of the mountain, but you can't see but 10 feet in front of you. But
Right.
if you don't drive and continue to drive, you're not going to be able to see that next 10 feet. But if you keep going, you'll be able to see the next 10 feet, and you'll be able to, basically, if you just take the next step, you'll figure out what
You'll
the
get
next step
there.
is. You may not have the whole plan, and you may not see the whole, road up to the peak of the mountain, but the next step will be revealed. So that's why I tell people, I'm like, dude, you
That's I
just,
that is the first time someone said it to me that way. That is so true. Because
yeah,
like in daylight, it's easy to navigate to your destination, right? But when it's
yeah,
nighttime, you don't know what creatures, or what's happening on the road that come your way, or even cars. You gotta be like constantly ready, like to be a defensive driver, and whatnot. But you've been there before, or maybe you didn't, but you obviously know it's there wherever you're going.
it's there.
Yeah,
You're going to get there.
yeah.
I like that. That's good. Hey, you know what? There may be trees like a couple miles up. There's going to be a big tree in the middle, and you're going to have to figure out how to get around it. But you know what? We'll worry about that when we get there. Let's just get the next, right?
Yeah, let's just get
And that's
what, you gotta go
the
back
next
to, okay,
10
we'll
feet,
pull over.
right?
But
That's life, isn't it?
I like that.
Yeah,
I like
sure.
that analogy. Like that's a good way. Like you know where your destination is. You just gotta get there. But just just take it, like whatever you can see in
One
front of you.
step.
And then okay, cool. oh, it's raining. Okay, it's raining. Okay, so what do we do? Turn on the windshield wipers. Okay, go. Right. What's the next? Oh, okay. And then yeah, like
Yeah.
make it more like for the kids, an adventure, right? When you tell your kids we're
Yeah.
gonna go to the park, we're gonna go, they get excited. They don't care what happens between the drive home to the park. They're just excited. And I think as adults,
Yeah. Oh, I
we
like that.
should look at it like that. Like we're going to the park. Oh my gosh, we're going to the
Yeah.
park. And then we just gotta be all in on the idea because that's the goal, that's the dream. We're just going
Yeah.
to the goal, the park.
I
And
like
when they're
that.
there, they celebrate. They're like, "Woo!" And then they're like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go on the swing. And it was
That's so true. We got to be excited like little kids, right?
yeah.
And yeah, and you
But we
know,
become adults and we let other adults convince us that you're too old.
yeah, yeah. I mean, my kids
And
right now, hey, whatever, I'm going. You know,
yeah.
they'll fall, but they'll. I
And
love that.
if you try
That's.
to stall your kids, they'll be like, you said we were gonna go.
Oh, I know, right?
Get into the
Oh,
dream of going to the park.
oh
But we
man.
have to be committed for ourselves, even if along the way people who are all in are no longer in. We have to be committed to the idea of
Yeah,
park.
that is so. That's great. I love that analogy. That's really good.
Yeah, I think surrounding yourself with people who are like-minded and maybe a couple steps ahead of you, it's healthy, and
Oh, absolutely.
it as they help you and you help it, you don't people don't realize when you help other people, it is a part of your process to heal, and it's a part of your personal growth, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
like, wow, I'm making a difference. That specialness of making a difference is powerful, and then for the person who's being helped, it launches them forward. That makes them want to help the next one.
it
And so,
does.
so
It
that's why it's
does.
good to go after your dream, because it plays a role. Like, it's a passing down.
It does. Oh man,
Energy.
that's
Like
that's
you said,
that's
energy.
great, Deslin.
Yeah. So
It is. And I think if you're a parent and you go after your dreams by your actions, you're telling your kids that they can go after their dreams.
exactly.
And if you don't, by your inaction, you're
You
telling them
subconsciously
similar
yeah.
things.
I
Yeah.
that's real. So I got divorced when my son was 2.5, and I'm like, go after your dreams. What do you want to be? Blah, blah. And then when he hit like 4, I was like, wait a minute, he's gonna learn more by me following my own dreams. And then that's
Yeah.
when I started a side hustle, a business, and then he became a part of the journey. And he learned to do photography, he learned to be a model, he learned to do sales and whatnot. And then it became real, right? And so
Mm,
you're right, like as parents, we have to have goals and dreams, and it doesn't have to be like, not everybody dreams to be on a stage, not everybody dreams
no,
to
yeah.
have a podcast, not everybody, you know what I mean? It could
They have
just,
their own dreams. Yeah.
yeah, there's nothing that's out of the list of things to do, but your kids can be a part of it, and that's what makes it beautiful.
Yeah.
And
That's great. I love that.
yeah, because you'll lose
I
heart.
love that.
They'll be like, Dad, didn't you say you wanted to go, do
Yeah. You're trying to tell me that, I can be whatever, anything I want, but like,
cheerleader and your coach?
yeah, what about you, Dad? You said you want X, Y, and Z, but you're not, Yeah, yeah, no,
And they tell you,
that's really true. Oh yeah, they'll tell you. I know, right? Like your kids are coach, right? They'll tell you, hey, transparent. Yeah, that's that.
yeah,
No, but
and
yeah, you mentioned
they
coach,
keep you humble. They keep you humble.
mentor. Yeah, yeah,
What were you gonna say about
yeah.
a
I
coach
love
and
that.
mentor? Coaching.
No, you were just you said, having a coach, having a mentor, finding people above you, farther along than you.
You have a coach,
I
you have a
I
mentor,
believe that.
right? How does that help?
Yeah, I have a couple.
How
Oh,
does
it's
that help
great.
you?
It helps me to they're accountability partners,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, you if you tell someone, you want to do XYZ, the next time you meet them, You want,
What's
you don't
going
want to show up
on?
and be like, you don't want to show up and be like, oh, hey, maybe you miss a week, and then, but the second week, so accountability partners, powerful partners, that term. So like you mentioned earlier, and I think on a few of our conversations, our family, our friends, our coworkers, our parents, even, they may or may not be partners in belief, right? So if you ask yourself this question, think about your dream really quick. Now, if you went and told your friend your dream, what would they tell you? Would they be a partner in belief, or would they be like, get out of here? What are you thinking? Right? I know that's powerful, isn't it? So, I think that they're, my mentors, they're partners in belief, right? They believe, like, in some sense, my mentors believe in my dream more than I do sometimes, and I'm like, oh, no.
You know why? Because they're not attached to your emotions, feelings, and but they know it's possible. That's all they know. But
They know because they've done it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but hey, Trey, look, you're in New York. Who would have thought when you were growing up in Hawaii, did you ever think you'd be in New York?
I never thought I'd be in the military. The military's been a blessing. The Marines, just a great organization. The values are held in high regard. The DNA of Marines is just really special and unique. And I'm just privileged, to serve amongst warriors. But yeah, I've got to travel the world. I never thought I'd be in New York. I tried to go to Hawaii, but God, put us here. It's like I wake up, the windows are frozen. I mean, you don't deal with that in Hawaii, like I gotta sit there. I gotta start the car at least 20 minutes before I even go outside.
Really? Right
so
now?
I can melt right now, so I can melt the ice. My friends would be in Hawaii, they'd be like, oh, what is this?
Oh, bro.
oh, this is nuts. And it's funny because
this is nuts.
This is nuts. When I joined the Marines, I went with two brothers from Hawaii, and they had never really left the island. And we went to Virginia in the winter, and it was like ice. And so I was an Army brat, so I lived all over. So I'd been exposed to cold weather, but my buddy Cam and Theo, I remember these are my friends to this day, and we're like, Brad, we go, let's go, no problem, we got this,
You don't need nothing, we get them.
and then these poor, I felt so bad for them.
Local boys.
Anyway, yeah, local boys, first time in frozen. I mean, we had to go swim in rivers that were like ice. We had to break the ice to jump in the river, and I remember seeing their faces during these like physical training events, and oh man, it was just a look like you'll never forget.
Oh my God.
Anyway, I miss those guys. Yeah.
Kind of like you guys had to go past your mindset, like what you're used
They
to.
did, and they persevered. So yeah, sorry to get back to your question.
Are they back in the warm sun here? Are they back?
Yeah, Cam, he's back there. He's in Hawaii. I chatted with him not long ago, and then my boy Theo, he's a lawyer now, and he's in Texas.
Oh,
so
nice.
he's from oh man,
where?
not Waipa. No, he's from
Wai'i?
Man, I'm trying to. He's from Wai'i. There it is. Hey, we got a connection. He's from Wai'i. Yeah.
Because you said Waipahu.
Yeah, so
that's the only place.
No, yeah, I was thinking Waipahu. No, he's from Wai'i. Yeah.
Oh, nice. But he's in Texas now?
Yeah, he's in Texas.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I talked to you on and on, but is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners?
You just got me thinking about Hawaii, so I just get kind of emotional and I kind of get homesick.
Oh,
Thinking of Waianae or Pahu, um, but for the listeners, I just want to encourage people that that we're all spiritual beings. God made us that way, and because of that, we want more, right? We want to express. My mentor says fuller expression, fuller expansion, right? And we all, even the richest people like Bill Gates, and they still want to do more for people, right? They still want to create more in their business and their life. We all want more because we're spiritual. Part of us is spiritual. And what I would say to those out there, as you look forward into your future and the life that you want to create for yourself, give it a chance. Get, give it life, let it live for another day, and feed it. Don't kill it.
I love it. What is the best way for people to find you?
You can find me on LinkedIn or Facebook, Joe Borgardt. The website is not up yet. It's in development process. Once it gets up, it'll be onfirepotential.com. So on fire, just like it's sounds, onfirepotential.com, and I'll put that out there once we get that up and running. So
Well, I'm
thank you.
excited. Thank you so much for joining me. It's definitely a pleasure. I found you on LinkedIn, and just the way you connect with people and your humility and just how you encourage people in their successes. And I find that that's really incredible. And I look forward to seeing what more you're going to do with the people that you serve, whether it's at work or the people you serve in your business. But I'm really honored and privileged to have the chance to gain a connection with you on LinkedIn and off LinkedIn, and getting to know your wife shortly, and just seeing how we're all from the same place, and just how when you open up your heart and you go in places that you never thought you'd be, that great things can happen. So thank you so much for being on here with me. I really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.